Lawyers representing President Trump are threatening a lawsuit to prevent the publication of Michael Wolff's new book, Fire and Fury, Inside the Trump White House. The publisher responded to a cease and desist letter by pushing the sale date to Friday, 4 days early. Jeff Pegues shows us what the book alleges.
As he left a summit meeting in Germany in July, the president was focused on a political crisis at home. News was about to break about a meeting during the 2016 campaign between his son, Donald Trump Jr., other top campaign officials, and representatives of the Russian government. According to Wolff, the president, Hope Hicks, Jared Kushner, and Ivanka Trump huddled on Air Force One over how to respond. The decision say the meeting was primarily about Russian adoptions by Americans. Trump Jr. later acknowledged the meeting was convened because he was told the Russians had negative information about Hillary Clinton. One member of President Trump's media affairs team was so troubled by the explanation that emerged from Air Force One, he quit. Wolff writes that Mark Corallo privately confided that he believed it represented a likely obstruction of justice. Wolff says Trump confidants said Corallo was fired. Based on what you know about that meeting, is it obstruction of justice?
I think you can't tell right now.
Scott Frederickson is a former federal prosecutor.
It could be a misleading press statement for political purposes only.
And that's not illegal.
That's not illegal.
So it's about intent.
It's about proving a corrupt intent.
The specter of obstruction of justice had already emerged in May when Trump fired FBI Director James Comey, then told an interviewer it was because of the Russia investigation.
When I decided to just do it, I said to myself, I said, you know, this Russia thing with Trump and Russia is a made-up story. It's an excuse by the Democrats for having lost an election that they should have won.
Frederickson says special counsel Robert Mueller, who is investigating Russian meddling in the 2016 campaign, has to be careful about bringing a case against the president.
The saying is, you don't take on the king unless you know you're right and you can win. And so when I say special counsel Mueller will approach this carefully, he will.
Legal scholars disagree on whether a president can even be indicted while in office. One option, the special counsel could write a report and then hand the issue over to Congress to resolve. Elaine?
Well, Jeff, in your piece you mentioned President Trump's former spokesman, Mark Corallo, who quit over concerns of obstruction of justice. Are there grounds for that charge at this point, or is it still, as you say, a specter?
Well, the investigation is ongoing, and according to the signs that we see, it does not appear that this investigation is anywhere near complete. But clearly, by the interviews that the special counsel is conducting, interviews of White House officials and then top Trump campaign officials, it looks like he is investigating whether there was obstruction of justice. But as you heard in our report, whenever you're bringing a case like obstruction of justice against a president, you have to be supremely confident in the evidence that you have.
Well, according to interviews with Michael Wolff, Steve Bannon predicts the Mueller investigation will focus on money laundering. Is there any evidence to back that up at this point?
Well, almost from the beginning of the investigation, and this is something that we've been following for the last year or so, investigators and sources have told us that they have been following the money, and that still seems to be the case. Keep in mind that investigators are looking into whether the Trump campaign coordinated with the Russian government. And the question behind that is why? What was the motive? And was there some sort of financial motive behind it?
Well, the president is also threatening to sue Bannon for violating a non-disclosure agreement. But if the White House is saying that nothing in the book is true, how do they reconcile that?
Well, this is the way the Trump organization has operated over the years. President Trump, while in business, has been known to get employees to sign these non-disclosure agreements. There's no doubt the last couple of days have been damaging with the information coming out from this book. And the White House is trying, and the president specifically, is trying to stop any more disclosures at whatever cost. And it looks like he's using a tactic that he has used before in business, and that is to go to these non-disclosures and then also take legal action.
All right, Jeff Pegues in Washington for us. Jeff, thank you.
My pleasure.